if you've been even slightly keeping up with current technology, you'll know that AI is all the rage nowadays. From AIs that'll help you with your math homework, to AIs that let you pretend to be an artist, to even AIs that know what Pot of Greed does. There really seems to be an AI for everything now. But in Gundam, AI has been there from the very beginning. And just like in real life, sometimes it went good, but other times it went really, really bad. So in anticipation of the inevitable AI uprising, you might want to consider hiding the things you do online with NordVPN, the fastest VPN around and my daily driver for getting access to region-locked content on Netflix or Japan-only websites. And by using my link down below or the code kkrt, you'll not just get a sweet discount, but you'll also be supporting the channel. But now let's have a look at the AIs in Gundam from the very beginning. And when I say the very beginning, I really do mean the very beginning. The original RX-78-2 Gundam had something called the learning computer installed in its cockpit. At first, this device would just act as a black box, recording all of the Gundam's combat data for a variety of uses. One of them would be for improving the performance of later mass production type mobile suits, but it would also study the data it gathered and would begin automating certain processes based on the pilot's style. And eventually, the computer would have learned so much that it could straight up control the Gundam by itself, kinda reflecting the learning AIs that we have today. However, unlike in real life, not much was done in the Universal Century with these AI capabilities. A supercharged version of this learning computer was installed in the supposed successor of the RX-78-2, the NT1 Alex, and its prototype version, the G4, which, other than its higher performance, also was more aggressive in its combat aiding. But again, nothing would come of it, and the learning computer would be slowly forgotten. But not completely, as a few years later, the Alice system was incorporated into the S-Gundam, also known as the Superior Gundam. And while it wasn't officially linked to the learning computers of the 1 Year War, she can nonetheless be considered as some kind of advancement of them. The eventual goal was to have her be capable of completely controlling a mobile suit by herself, but in her early stages, she still needed a human pilot to learn from. What definitely set her apart from those learning computers, though, was that she was programmed to be more human-like and also had a sense of self-preservation, something that I'm sure both the pilot and the mobile suit appreciated. Still, her self-preservation would not take priority over the safety of her pilot, as she would eventually sacrifice herself and the Gundam to save him, proving to her designers that she was indeed very human, or perhaps even more so. But again, nothing really came of this, and we again jump a couple of years forward, this time to Gundam F90. Both units of the Gundam F90 have a pseudo-personality computer system installed that helps the pilot to effectively handle the mission packs, like optional equipment, as well as another perk based on the type of computer that was installed. Unit 1 has a type AR, implied to be based on Omro Ray, and can predict enemy movement, and Unit 2 has the type CA, implied to be based on Char Aznable, and somehow manages to make the unit react 3 times faster than a regular mobile suit. I guess the type CA has blast processing. And then finally for the Universal Century, we go to G Savior, where a guy called Race Patrick was obsessed with creating the ultimate killing machine. So he developed an AI system called Rysis, which was then installed into the CAMS-15 Raven, the culmination of Project Raven. But that is all the time I want to spend on G Savior, so let's quickly move on to G Gundam. where we find the Ultimate Gundam and its very gentle AI, at least in the beginning. The Ultimate Gundam, and by extension its AI, were designed and programmed to revive the Earth through 3 processes: self-evolution, self-replication, and self-regeneration. But things never play out so nicely in Gundam. Some people wanted to use the Ultimate Gundam for their own greed instead, causing the developer's son Kyoji to repossess the Gundam and escape with it to Earth. Unfortunately for Kyoji, his landing was far from ideal, and the resulting impact also had an impact on the AI. It did still want to revive the Earth, but it now came to the conclusion that the main problem was humanity. And we all know where this goes. The Ultimate Gundam was renamed to the Devil Gundam and went about reviving the Earth until it was stopped. The most famous example of AI-controlled mobile suits then is definitely the mobile doll system from Gundam Wing. Simply put, a mobile doll is a mobile suit controlled entirely by an AI and is said to be vastly superior to a human-controlled mobile suit. Not including the main characters, of course. Developed by engineer Tuberov, these mobile dolls initially did have some kinks to be worked out, like an embarrassing friendly fire incident, but even with their bugs, they immediately became the dominating force on the After Colony battlefield. Their only real downside was that their movements were rather predictable to an ace pilot, so an upgrade was made to the Virgo 2. The final known mobile suit to be installed with the mobile doll system. They got a custom version of the Zero system, a system that isn't officially called an AI, but is something that I think can definitely qualify as an AI, integrated into their mobile doll system. So to put it briefly, the Zero system analyzes everything that goes on at the moment, and then suggests the best courses of action to the pilot, leading them to ultimate victory. The big downside is that this system can be very convincing and only takes victory into account and not the moral implications of the road leading to victory. So the system has no problem suggesting to the pilot to blow up his allies, or even himself if the system decides, you suck, the best course of action now is to quit the game. Meaning that the pilot has to be mentally strong to stay in control of the system, lest the AI basically takes over control of their mind. A variant of this system then was turned into a network for the Virgo 2's mobile doll system. Something that allowed a person to send new and innovative tactics to the mobile dolls on the fly and as the situation called for. The Geminass Unit 1 then was outfitted with an AI Aimbot, and the Gundam Sandrock was once shown as having a rudimentary AI that could also take control of the mobile suit. While it couldn't do much, it was shown that the name of this AI was the Alice Mark II. And talking about Alice, a very similar system could be found in the Cosmic Era Stargazer Gundam. This AI doesn't have a name, but it was designed to be like a human brain. Through learning from its human pilot, it could eventually pilot the Stargazer all by itself and fulfill the mobile suit's mission of exploring deep space. Then we have the Aimbot for the Strike Rouge, the Dodgebot for the Astray Green Frame, the Captain Bot for the ReHome, which really is just George Glenn's brain turned into an AI, and the Adaga, or DI Adaga, a mobile suit that can be controlled by an AI. Originally, the machine was developed as a support unit for the Destiny Impulse R, and through the buddy system, these machines would somehow be able to power each other up. However, Zaft had a chronic pilot shortage, so an AI was developed to allow some of the DI Adagos to go into battle without a pilot. The only requirement was that every buddy system still needed at least one human-piloted mobile suit in order to make important decisions. But without a doubt, the most famous and most popular AI from the Cosmic Era is 8, or Hachi, the suitcase-sized and quirky AI that Logul found in a wrecked spacecraft. And out of all of the AIs on this list, it's probably also the most impressive. It would help Lo with customizing mobile suits, it could just about pilot every mobile suit out there, and it also had its own quirky personality. In some media, 8 is given a voice, but in the manga, which is the canon version so to say, 8 can only communicate through text, which is displayed on a screen on the suitcase.
心配するな。俺はジャンクやな。人殺しはしない。
かっこつけてる場合じゃないぞ、ロー。なあ。敵の増援をキャッチ。距離8000。うわ、団体で来やがった。とにかく逃げるぞ。
Definitely one of the best AIs to have. Oh, and even though they're not officially AI controlled, I think the Strike Freedom Super Dragoons definitely deserve a mention here. Kira, despite being the ultimate coordinator, does not have the spatial awareness required to control regular Dragoons, but through improved quantum communication systems and other enhancements, he can use the Super Dragoon system. So I always just assumed that the Super Dragoons included an AI Aimbot, kinda like the Strike Rouge. Or like they did in Gundam Age with the Age FX A-funnel equipment type. The standard version of the Age FX uses regular funnels that can only be controlled by an X-Rounder, which is the Gundam Age version of a new type or person with high spatial awareness. So for regular humans, Woodbit developed a system that allowed for funnels to be controlled through an AI. That being said though, that didn't mean that things suddenly became a walk in the park, as the main control was still done by the pilot himself. What is completely controlled by an AI though was the Fearsome Sid mobile suit, a machine that I would assume would be classified as a mobile armor instead. But in addition to being very powerful, it also had a bunch of AI-powered Sid slaves that could repair the machine when it was damaged. Something that I definitely think inspired the Iron-Blooded Orphans mobile armors. On the 00 side of things then, we go mostly smaller. The Human Reform League had unmanned AI-controlled versions of their Feimeng and Jiachong mobile armors, and Celestial Being has a small army of Haros. Now, in previous Gundam anime, these things were also most likely somewhat AI-controlled. The best example being Lacus's own Haro army being able to play with each other, and Mr. Pink in particular being able to unlock a door on the Alliance's most advanced warship. But these Celestial Being versions were also made for combat. In addition to being able to perform small maintenance functions, they could also be installed in the Gundams to act as support, a feature most famously used by Lock-On. The bigger examples of AI in 00 then are the Veda supercomputer, used by Celestial Being, and the Luminescence facial patterns used by many of the Union's mobile suits. This AI-controlled feature changes how the faceplate looks depending on the situation. It is mostly used for communication and intimidation during combat, but it also had other uses that we unfortunately don't know about at the moment. And what we also don't know everything about were the giant autonomous mobile armors from Iron-Blooded Orphans' Calamity War. as much as 25% of human civilization was wiped out by these AI-controlled monstrosities before they could be stopped by the purpose-built Gundams. And the power of these mobile armors didn't just lie in their own raw strength, but also in the fact that they could produce smaller mobile armors that were also AI-controlled, which would then give them a little army. And on top of that, other than fighting, these little critters could also gather resources for the main mobile armor to create even more smaller mobile armors, creating an endless cycle of human-killing AI mobile armors. Definitely something to keep in mind with the current AI advances. Sleep well tonight. And then finally we get to the latest Gundam series, Witch from Mercury, where the Dodgebot was outfitted with a decision-making extension AI. This system could control some of the unit's offensive and defensive weapons, or could straight up take control of the whole mobile suit. And as many AIs on this list, it could also learn from its pilot. An advanced version of this AI was supposed to be incorporated into the Schwarzette, which was meant as the successor unit of the Dodgebot, but due to technical difficulties with the AI, this was put on an indefinite hiatus and would only be finished after the AI system was replaced with the Gundarm system. I think I'll take the AI. And those were all of the instances of AI in Gundam that I could think of. If you think I missed any, let me know down below, but do remember that some systems that look like they're AI aren't actually AI, but are instead trapped human souls, because that's a thing in Gundam, and also a video of mine all on its own, which I'll of course have linked on screen and down below for those interested. Because yes, it happened more than once. But that has been all for this video on Gundam AIs. Don't forget to check out NordVPN with the link down below or the code kkrt. As always, a big thank you to the Patreon supporters. I hope everyone watching has a great day, and I'll see you all next time.